I'm Marc Dresner, and welcome to the Research Insider, delivering the insight scoop on the world of consumer and market intelligence from experts and leaders in the field. The Research Insider is brought to you by the Market Research Technology Event, a unique forum dedicated to the exploration and promotion of technological innovations in consumer and market research and business intelligence, taking place April 30th through May 2nd in Las Vegas. Joining us today is Paul Navratil. He is the Research Associate and Manager of the Scalable Visualization Technologies Group at the Texas Advanced Computing Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Paul, welcome to the program.
Hi, Mark. Glad to be here.
Tell us briefly about what you've been up to lately at TAC.
So at TAC, we're dealing with a lot of large data problems, often scientific data, but increasingly information data. Data that requires a lot of computing resources to handle, including anything from DNA sequencing to hurricane forecasting to the digital records of the National Archives.
Great. And now, the Pecan Street project that you're involved with in Austin in particular has generated a lot of interest. Can you tell us a little bit about the project and TAC's role in it?
Absolutely. So the Pecan Street project is a public-private partnership centered here in Austin around smart grid technology. Everything from the better and more efficient production of energy to the more efficient and smarter consumption of it. And in the initial part of the project has 100 homes in a neighborhood here in Austin wired to measure their energy consumption every 15 seconds. And that data comes here to TAC. And so far, about a half year's worth of data over 100 homes has produced over 2 billion records in our database. And what we're looking to scale to in the next 18 months is 1,000 homes across Austin, including also water usage, gas usage, and other relevant data.
Wow, that's a massive amount of data. Very ambitious. How might your analysis, if I could ask, be applied down the road? What do you expect to do with this?
Well, we hope to help the entire energy pipeline become more efficient. Specifically for the home consumer and for the industrial partners of Pecan Street that are interested in home equipment technology, we're interested in giving them more intelligent decision-making processes. So if we get a home energy management unit and we have smart appliances that can tie into that infrastructure, we can do things like, say, set our washing machine or dishwasher to run when energy is the cheapest, say maybe at 3 in the morning. Or we can program our air conditioner to raise the temperature when energy gets more expensive.
Wow, that's pretty Jetson stuff. I love it. You're also doing a lot of work in data visualization, and I know you're well known for this. What can you tell us about that?
We really want to make data accessible to our scientific partners and to our industry partners here at the center. We provide remote visualization services that provide massive supercomputing level infrastructure to the remote consumer to analyze their data. We also deal in local visualization displays. So we have Stallion, the highest resolution tiled display in the world. It's a 307 megapixel tiled display. We also have one of the largest touch displays in the world, a 12 megapixel iPad, if you will. And we're also working with touchless displays using Microsoft's Kinect infrastructure.
Fascinating. As you know, the market research and business intelligence industries are awash in data. We're well into what's commonly referred to now as the age of big data, air quotes. How might the work, Paul, that you're doing be applied in a consumer market research business intelligence context?
Well, you're absolutely right, Mark. The availability of data has become legion across the internet and our various social media outlets. So for instance, if a company wants to mine the mentions of their products and their brand name on Twitter, if they want to integrate multiple data streams, say from point of purchase information, customer surveys, and digital media, if they want to mine their media mentions, and not only the collection of this data, but then also the intelligent representation of it to fund business decisions and to power the insight needed to take action is really what we focus on here.
Have you run into any unexpected hurdles or other surprises along the way that research analysts should perhaps take into consideration as they develop their own big data analytics solutions akin to what you're doing?
The challenge is always in the details, right?
Mm-hmm.
The structuring of the data is important to allow for efficient retrieval of it. Really going through some testing with the consumers of the data to understand what is the best way to visualize this. How can this data make the most sense to the people who are trying to actualize it? Mm-hmm. And then also caching on multiple levels. So, for instance, in the Pecan Street data, we have 15-second data, but sometimes researchers want to look at day-by-day changes. And so pulling 15-second data to look at a week's worth of data or a week's worth of change isn't necessarily the most efficient thing. Mm-hmm. And so holding multiple levels of detail of the data can really aid in the analysis, but then that increases the storage cost. So it's a constant balance we're trying to work with.
You touched on, multiple data streams, POS data, social media analytics, et cetera, and I'm curious, what kind of infrastructure would be investment, and that can be, a monetary investment, or it could be an investment of intellectual capital and labor, et cetera, is involved in creating something along the scale of what you're doing?
Well, this is the great thing, Mark, is that centers like TAC, and of course TAC itself, often engage in partnerships with industry for precisely fleshing out these reasons. So it may not be actionable for a company to spend 8 or 9 figures on a data center and all the goodies that go in it, but they can spend a reasonable amount, maybe a 5-figure, or even 4 figures with a university or with a research center to help forward that information and flesh out what it would take to solve their data problem. And in the process, they may get further information from the scientists there, and they get relationships with the students if it's a university that could then potentially come work for the company.
Mm-hmm. Speaking for TAC specifically, or more generally, at the academic level, how much progress has been made toward really coming up with a solution for big data analysis? You're obviously, more than knee deep in it at this point. I'm just curious, how mature is the sector, if you will, at this stage from your perspective? How far do you have to go?
It's really an exciting time because we're really at the cutting edge. We don't have a turnkey solution to say this is exactly what your solution will be. Some database companies may try to offer that, but that's more fitting a square peg into a round hole, hitting a nail because you had a hammer. What we're seeing is the growth in disk technologies with solid state devices, the networking that you need at the data center level to allow the information to travel efficiently. And then we're dealing with some data problems where it just takes a long time to pull it off of disk. We still deal with partners where it's more efficient to put the data on a solid state drive or on a disk and mail it to them rather than trying to transfer it. And so until we really solve the national infrastructure in terms of data movement, we're always going to be faced with these challenges of how to do things more efficiently, how to stage them out and distribute them in a way so that the answer can be pulled quickly, and then still how the data digestible by us humans.
And that goes back to that visualization piece that you're working on, which sounds really cool. I'm just trying to imagine a giant iPad. That sounds so awesome. This may be a little bit redundant, but let me ask it anyway, and this will be the last question for you for today.
Sure.
What tips or advice do you have for market research and intelligence organizations, be they vendors or be they internal organizations at large, medium, small companies that are looking to leverage these kinds of technologies and really, move upstream here?
I would tell to a person just looking at their data stream and wondering what to do to start small with an eye of growing big. And that means both with just the sample of data that you're starting with. To go back to Pecan Street, take a house instead of the whole neighborhood.
Right.
And really understand what you're trying to do with that. Then also start small in terms of the technology and look to partner out, either with academic units, research centers, or the places that are available to you, although centers like TAC have national reach, so we're happy to talk to anybody. But build the case for growth. both within your own organization and at a larger level, to really make the case to then say, look, we've had this great 2.5-year partnership with this supercomputing center. They've gotten so much great data for us. Now I think we can rationalize a $10 million purchase of our own data infrastructure.
So we shouldn't try to tackle 15 different streams right out of the gate.
You need to reduce it to something that really works well. And maybe it is 15 different streams, but a single house, right? Or it's one stream across several houses. But just make it manageable and then build from there.
Terrific. Paul, we've just really started to peel a pretty big onion here, and I'm really excited about and looking forward to seeing where your work takes us. So I hope you'll keep us updated, and I want to thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure, Mark.
And that wraps this episode of the Research Insider. If you would like to learn more from Paul Navratil, he'll be delivering a presentation titled Sailing the Data Deluge, Advanced Computing for Information Visualization and Analysis at the Market Research Technology event taking place April 30th through May 2nd in Las Vegas. For more information or to register, please visit iirusa.com/technology. Until next time, I'm Marc Dresner, and you've just heard the Insight Scoop.